we now show three examples based on the observer pattern using Qt. So the first example is very simple. It's a simple application. So here you have a slider bar, and when you drag the slider bar, you have a progress bar that tracks this, and also you have a label. You have a label that displays the value as well. So here this slider bar is the subject, and you have two observers. One is the progress bar, and another is this label. So for this simple application, you can here will be the UI. So you basically using you double click .ui file, then you can use the Qt designer to design it, and then because this is all just you can use the signal slot. You can simply use the signal slot that and you can specify them on this because they are in the same window. So you can use this Qt designer to choose to connect the signal and the slots. So this button shows the signal and the slots. And so if you take a look at the code, in the code that basically in the constructor, you for the horizontal slider you set the minimum and set the maximum, and for the progress bar you can set the minimum and maximum also, and for the label you set the text to be 0 and set the value to be and for the progress bar you set the value to be 0, and the label you set the text to be 0 as well. Here this one you will notice that by default the Qt creator already have this code UI setup UI this. So here setup UI basically creates the actual instances of the widget for you. Basically after this UI setup UI this, then you can use you can access the GUI objects, the widgets on this form. Basically this UI you can use UI arrow horizontal slider, which is the slider one, the slider bar, and also the progress bar and so on. And here, so remember this the name is specified here. So the object name, so the object name is specified here. You can change it. For example, here we call it horizontal slider. Then when you access it, you need to UI arrow horizontal slider exactly. And and then this slider bar, this progress bar, we call it progress bar, and then you access progress bar. And same thing for the label, you call progress label. You can whatever label, X label, and then here you need to call it X label as well. Okay, so this is the first example, which is pretty simple one. And now let's take a look at the second example. In the second example, let's take a look at this. You click on this project, and you right click, and you can choose set this to be the active project, and then you can compile and run. I run that. Alright, so we run this project. Okay, so you will see that in the main window it has two buttons. One is create new observers, and this one is delete last observer, and also has a slider bar. It has a slider bar. And let's take a look. Suppose we click create new window, click on again, and it creates another new window. Click another one, it creates another new window. And then when we drag the slider bar, you can see that all the progress bars in the generated pop-up windows, they all reflect the values in the of the slider bar in the main window. So this is the application that we want to build. Alright, so how to do this? So this is okay, so let's take a look at when we delete the click delete last observer, then the last one is closed. Last one is closed. So okay, so in the form, first you can use the Qt designer to design this main window. Click you have this push button. You have two push buttons and a slider and a slider bar. That's similar to the previous examples. All right, and then you can click forms. You can right click and then you say add new. When you add new, you choose Qt and then Qt designer form class. Make sure you choose Qt designer form class, not Qt designer form. Choose this one. It will generate the classes for you. And when you choose that, then you can choose the one class. Dialog without buttons. Then you can design whatever you want, and then you can name it. Here we name it observer dialog, and then we put progress bar in this dialog window. All right, so then let's take a look at the header files. Okay, let me just put it here. Okay, so let's take a look at the let's take a look at the main window. Let's take a look at the main window one. Okay, in the main window you need to have a vector of the listeners. Vector of the listeners basically is a vector of observer dialog pointers, right? And you need to include this vector. And what else? Then you have this on create button clicked, on delete button click. These two are automatically generated by the by Qt, not initially when you do this. So let's take a look. So here, okay, so here we call it create button, and this we call delete button. You can type in whatever name you want, and then when we click here, click this button and right click, and you will see go to slots, and then then go to slot. Then you will choose the signal. So this one we choose click, then you will automatically go here. It will automatically create this on create button clicked, and then you will type in the code here. Alright, so basically here when you right click, go to slot, this one then you choose clicked, then basically you will have a private slot. And this private slot, why it is private? Because it receives the signal from itself. It receives the signal from this class, from the main window. You click this, and you yourself receive this signal. So on this create button clicked. All right. So by the way, you should not change those names because those are will be automatically passed by mock. So don't change those names. Alright, similarly, if you right click this button, you say go to a slot, it will allow you to choose which signal you want, and then you see it will automatically bring you here, and it will automatically generate the code for these two. So private slots, on create button click, and on delete button click. Alright, so that's the another thing is, because you have a vector of observer dialog pointers, then you need to have observer dialog.h. Alright, so that one is we are going to look at that later. So now let's take a look at main window.h, and this is main window.cpp. Okay, now we want to take a look at the observer.h. This is observer.h. So observer.h, we basically add only one thing, is get the UI. So here is this, it has a private data member is UI : observer dialog. So this is the UI pointer. So we want to have a function which is constant function return this UI. and we're going to use it later on. So that's the observer dialog, and then in observer.cpp, basically in the constructor, we basically add set minimum for the progress bar. We set minimum, set maximum, and set value, set init value to be 0. That's it. And these are the code that automatically generated. Now let's take a look at main window.cpp. So more for main window.cpp in the constructor, other than the this UI setup UI, this is the one that automatically generated. So what you need to do for in this constructor is basically for this for the horizontal slider, you set the minimum and set the maximum, and this is the constructor is automatically generated. And now we want to take a look of this on create button clicked and on delete button clicked. So on create button clicked, so for this one, basically on when you click the create new observer, so you need to generate a new observer dialog object. So this is observer dialog pointer, new listener, and new this observer dialog, and you specify this. This serves as the parent parent object for the as the parent window for this. Basically, when the main window, this is the main window. When the main window closes, then this observer dialog window will also be closed. When this one the main window closes, then this one also closes. Alright, so you create this such an observer dialog object, you push it back to your listeners, okay, and then you display this new listener show. And now we need to connect, we need to do this for the signal and slot. So what we want to do is, what we want to achieve is, whenever we slide the slider bar, we want the progress bar in the dialog to listen to this information, to listen to this update. Okay, so what we want to do is the subject who issued the update is this horizontal slider, which is you can access by UI horizontal slider. For this object, it issues it has a signal of value changed. This is the built-in public signal. And then the receiver object and the receiver slot is basically the set value int, and both need to be the same set of parameters. Alright, so now they see who is the receiver object. So so the progress bar in this dialog window is the receiver. So to access that, you need to first, this is the new dialog object, you first get the UI, then you can access the progress bar. So that's why in this observer .h we added this get UI, because it is a private data member. You could also simply change this to be public, and then you can directly access this parameter, but then that may, also allow clients to modify it. So here we just want to get that UI and we don't want to modify it. So you can use a function get UI and return that. That's pretty much, oh yeah, that's for create button. And then for the delete button, you first need to check whether you have already deleted everything. So basically just check whether you still have something that you can delete. Check whether the listener size is bigger than 0, and if it is, you basically get the last from this vector, and then you call close, and then you pop it out, and that's it. That's for the second example. Alright, so now let's take a look at the third example. You right click this object, and then you set it as active, and then you can compile and run. Okay, you click this. Okay, so now let's take a look. Okay, here we can close those up. Alright, so here in the main window you have this create new observer and delete last observer and with a slider bar. And now when we click this create new window, new observer, then we pop up a new dialog. In this dialog we also have a slider bar, and we also have a button delete this observer. And let's take a look of this guy. You can create many observers. Alright, and what will happen is that when you slide this slider bar, then every slider in every of the dialog window slides the same way. And similarly, if you slide this, also everybody slides the same thing. Okay, and also you can delete this. The fourth observer is deleted, and second you click delete this one, the second observer is deleted, and delete this one, the third one is deleted. You can see. Alright, so that's the application that we want to build. Again, let's take a look. So again, so you can design the UI using this Qt Designer, and again, here to create the observer dialog, you can right click the forms and add new and select Qt Designer form class, and then you can choose dialog without buttons, and then you can give a name, and then that's it. That will automatically create this observer dialog. If we name it observer dialog, and for this observer dialog you can modify it here also. And in here we put a slider bar and also have a button this observer. Right, so that's okay. So now let's take a look. So we need to design this the signal and slots. It's okay, they need to collaborate together. We need to configure them so that they can collaborate. Alright, so let's take a look. So here we have this slider bar in the main window, and it can issue a signal of value change, and then we can, for this slider bar, we can have a set value slot. So then this value change and set value, they form a pair, and similarly this one value change and this set value here, they form a pair also. So these two form a pair. And second is when we have this click this delete this observer, when we click this one, so we can use a signal slot to delete this window, but also we want to display the information here. So we need to have a we need to build our own signal and slots. So here when we click this delete this observer, we can emit a signal. We can emit a signal which is observer delete, and then this one we can have a slot delete observer, and here the integer means the ID of this pop-up window, of this dialog window. That's the signal and slots that we are going to build. Alright, let's take a look of the observer.h. In the observer.h, so here are these are the red lines are the code that we added. So first you need to add the one with observer ID, because we are going to use that to notify the main window that what's my ID, the ID that we are going to that was assigned to me. Alright, so then we need to have a signal, which is you can name it as any way you want. We call it observer deleted, and with unsigned int, which is this observer ID. And then in the public function we can have set observer ID and also get observer ID, and also more importantly is this one get UI. Get UI is get the UI, get this data member. So that's observer.h, and then observer.cpp. And take a look here, observer.cpp. Here you don't need to change, and here's the UI, the same thing, automatic generated code, and you can have the implement this set observer ID function. That's very simple. And also we need to do this on observer delete button click. Then we need to emit this observer deleted signal. And how is this function created? So also you can see that it has a private slot which is has this interface. That's basically here in the if you click the QDesigner, you click the .ui file, then here you right click and then go to source, you choose clicked, and then that will automatically generate this empty function for this one, and also the interface in the .h file for private slots on observer delete button. And again, this observer delete button is the name of this button. Is the name of this button. You can name whatever you want. Right. So that's for the observer.cpp. And in the main window.h, let's take a look. Main window.h. In the main window.h. All right. So what do we need to do? Okay, we need to have a list of listeners. That's a list of the observers, basically. We need to have a vector of those, and we need to include this vector. And we need to have variable of observer ID, basically the one that the current observer ID that we can issue. And then we have two private slots of on create button click, on delete button click. That's similar to before. And then we need to have this public slots. This public slot is what we need to tap in by ourselves. Public slot, and then this void delete observer, you have this unsigned int. All right. And then in the main window.cpp, let's take a look in main window.cpp. In the constructor, you assign the observer ID to be 0, and then set the label to be initially to be empty. And then here, so this is the on create button clicked, which is when we click this button, create new observer. All right. So here we need to instantiate a new listener. Is a observer dialog object with the main window as the parent window, and then we push this to the listener vector, and then show this guy, and also we set the observer ID to be the current ID. And then current ID need to be increased, and then we need to construct this signal and slots. We basically build this relationship between the dialog window we just created and the main window. All right, so the object that issued the update is the horizontal slider, UI horizontal slider, the horizontal slider on the main window, and the signal is value changed. And then for the receiver, one is the new listener is this new dialog, and we get the UI. After we get the UI, we can get the horizontal slider, and then that one is set with value slot. So there we are. This one is implementing this guy. And then similarly, we need to implement the second one, which is basically reverse these two. And this new listener get UI and get the horizontal slider, and you have this signal of value change, and then the UI horizontal slider is the receiver of this, and you set value. All right, and also we need to have this to implement this one. So the new listener, this new listener is the new dialog, the pop-up window. This one has a signal of observer deleted with the ID as the parameter, and then this one is the main window. The main window need to have the main window receive this, uses the slot delete observer, and delete observer is implemented here. Delete observer is implemented here. All right, so slot is a function. Okay, so for the delete button, again, we need to check whether the observer ID is bigger than 0 or not. If bigger than 0, then we need to get the last listener and close and get the last one, and then we call close, and we pop it out, and then we display that this observer is deleted, and we might decrement the observer ID. And for delete observer, this is the slot that we are going to implement. The observer ID is decremented, and then we are going to go through the listeners in the vector and see which one is equal to this ID, which one, because this one has the ID, and which one listener I get the observer ID, and if it is equal to the ID, then we erase it. Then we erase that one from this listener, and then we display that this one is deleted. This ID plus 1, and this is the observer is deleted. That's all the functions, that all the code that we added for this application. Okay, and then we can close it. Okay, so let me spend 1 minute to explain the application that we want to build for the homework. So here the main window is similar to the third example. You have created a new window, and for the pop-up window, for the pop-up dialog, so it has this value initially 0, and it has this reset button, and you can have multiple of them. You can have generated multiple of them, and also this one has a delete last window button, and works the similar way. And here, so when you drag this, everyone changes. When you drag the slider bar in the main window, then this number changes for every dialog pop up, and then also, so you can click reset on any of those. When you click reset on any of those dialog, the main window, this slider bar will reset to 0. So this is the application that we are going to build.